Have you ever walked into your studio and around the corner you see something you don't recognize? What was that? What was that? What are these strange devices? Where did they come from? That one looks a little familiar. Is it a free multiband exciter? Oh my god, I'm suddenly overrun with mystery plugins. I have too many plugins! Thanks for joining me. So this is a new segment, Too Many Plugins, where we try to figure out what the f to do with all our forgotten plugins. Let's take a look at my plugin folder. Look at all this stuff that I have. Like, what is this even? Page Soli? How do you even say that? Fiverr? Miko? Look at all this. Hey Shouts? Sure, why not? I thought I'd take a moment and grab a random plugin that I've downloaded and forgotten about, or have some plugins that some kind developers gave me an NFR license to review, and I haven't got around to that yet, so I thought I'd catch up on those as well. And speaking of, today I'm going to review United Plugins QuickBase. They gave me a review license for this, full disclosure, but I'll give my true unbiased thoughts on it. I also want to review their Fire Charger plugin as well, so stay tuned for that. And I think this QuickBase is maybe targeted at the more novice user. To my eyes, it seems a little too simple. Like for me, I have my own process for mixing bass guitar. I like to split the bass into multiple channels, what we call multing, and blend the DI with the amp bass, apply effects without introducing phase issues, etc. And that's one of the big giveaways between an amateur mix and a pro mix is nice, tight, controlled low end. That's one of the big secrets, is splitting the bass into separate channels. Now, does this plugin do any of that? Let's find out. So I got a project loaded here. Let's take a listen. So I chose this track because it's got the nice Yamaha bass with lots of busy plectrum picking, so I think this will be a good test. Take a sip of my beer. We're that casual today. This has a nice Yamaha bass. A track for this. Tried it with a pick, so it's, it can be hard to control. So I'm just going to solo this. I have nothing on this track except for a couple gain staging plugins. I just have my favorite gain staging plugin, HoRNet VU Meter Mark IV, which will automatically ride the gain and adjust it to your target, so it's either hitting 0 dB VU or minus 18 dB full scale with maximum peaks of 6 dB. So this is great. So, I activate this guy and it'll get my VU meter nice and near 0 with the peaks. So it's a great little plugin. I highly recommend it. It's cheap as hell. Sometimes they have a sale. I think you can get this thing for like $6. It's nuts. It's a great developer. Another cool gain staging plugin I have is GainMatch. This is a lovely cheap little plugin. I highly recommend getting it. I think it's $19. You can even get it on sale for less. You can use this like the HoRNet Mark IV and set your tracks to a target average level. But the real killer feature with this is that you can insert an instance before you insert your plugin chain. So you put one at the start, then whatever inserts you want after that. And then you insert one after at the end of your chain, which stores your initial dry signal and adjusts your levels automatically. So if you put in like a really loud limiter and it raises your track, this will start turning down that volume dial. So let's do QuickBase. Whoa! That's quite the gain jump there, guys, for an initial patch. Yeah, so they obviously they went in all guns blazing on the first patch. Look at that. 11 dB of gain compensation to get this back down to the original level. Let's compare. So this is dry. So when I hit this gain match bypass, this is the original signal before the processing, with the gain reduction applied. It's actually kind of subtle when you turn everything down. This loads with a lot of stuff going on. Let's take a look. So obviously it's got sections with 3 of the more popular ways of playing bass, and then Millerize. I don't know what that is. Let's see. It just bypasses the mids entirely. Well, this is a pick bass, so let's go with pick. Bypass this again. Yeah, I guess the original bass I have here sounds like it had some processing done on it. It's already got some saturation. Maybe I could have tried a pure example, but I still think it's pretty good anyways. It's there's that big jump again. Alright, well let's get this gain under control first of all. Oh neat, it's got view meters here so we can actually see how much gain's been applied. So I'm going to put this back, and you can see GainMatch is actually going much closer to parity now. Cool, okay. Let's take a listen to this. So there's a low cut here, ranging from 20 Hz to 65 Hz. That's sensible, that's where I'd usually high pass the bass around. Right? Can't really... Nothing really perceptible there, but let's check out the bass. Right? Pretty standard. So now we have de-swamp. So I assume this is going to take out some of the mud. Should be interesting. I'm hearing like a little bit of honkiness in this bass around the 200 to 300 zone. Wonder if that's what this is. Huh. I'm not hearing much there. I guess it's doing something. Got our mids. It's quite subtle. Huh. Wonder if I change algorithms or... These all sound kind of the same to me. Okay. Alright, let's try the highs. Is this thing on? Huh. This is very subtle. It's very smooth EQ. I mean, it's so smooth it's almost not doing anything. So what do we got? A high cut from 200 to 2K to 9K. It's very subtle. It could work in a mix. Okay, I can hear this doing something. It's mostly the low end. Yeah, okay, I hear it a little bit. So let's turn this stuff off here. So I'm going to turn the compression down. Oh, I can't... It kind of annoys me with a plugin when you can't change the parameters when it's bypassed. It's nice to have that option. Okay, I'll lower the compression. So we have three different styles of compression here. We got FET, which is your 1176 style compression, optical compression, which is your LA2A style compression, and then Varimu, which is your Fairchild compressor. All these hardware units are great choices for bass compression, so let's see what they sound like. Let's try FET. 1176 would definitely be one of the first things I'd reach for a bass. So it's like 0 release. This sounds pretty decent. Let's try some opto. Seems to be a bit of a tonality shift when I go to the very mute. Sounds very clean. Yeah, this is kind of fun. I like being able to blend between these. I'd like to hear the very mu with the FET. That'd be kind of cool. This opto is very clean. I almost don't really hear it when it's on. Maybe it's a good thing, you know? All right, let's switch off the compressor and try the saturation here. So that's clean. Let's see what this sounds like. Right, yeah, you got kind of a nice tubey distortion. It sounds good. Wonder if they have oversampling on this. Do you have oversampling? If I got saturation plugin, I really want to have the option for oversampling. Basically, I won't go into too much here, but when you distort a signal digitally, especially at lower sample rates, you can introduce bad harmonics back into the signal as their harmonics approach the limit of the sample rate. Oversampling helps reduce this so you get nice even harmonics across your mix, and this is something that doesn't really happen in the analog domain. So yeah, I really like to have that when I'm using saturation these days, and I don't see that option here. Alright, so I like that they have a dry and wet here. That's cool. I mean, this sounds like an overdrive that I would reach for. I just wonder what it's doing here. Is this being applied to the entire signal? I just wonder because for me, again, I like to split the bands on the bass and apply the overdrive mostly to 200 Hertz and above. Of course, some saturation on the entire bass is always good too. I guess what's bugging me, I'm gonna put the compressor back on. Ooh, it's more intense now. I wonder, it sounds like this compressor is in series before the saturation. Yeah, I like the saturation down a bit more. Alright, what else we got here? We got a doubler! Cool. Now, this concerns me. The doubler has no controls apart from just, you know, 0 to 100. So is this putting a chorus on the entire bass? Let's find out. Right? It's nice. Let's go ape here. Oh, I'm hearing a delay. Huh. I just want to see something here. If we go to mono. Ugh. Oh man, I would be scared to use this on a bass. Like, you can hear the low end thinning out when I put this doubler on. Obviously this is extreme, but this is definitely going to introduce phase issues into your low end, and you really don't want that. Again, another reason why I like to split the bass up into bands is I can apply modulation just to the higher frequencies. I have control over that. You know, I could send it to a chorus and then put a high pass filter before it. There's no control for that here. And I'd be worried about a first time mixer grabbing this and going, wee, listen to how awesome and fat my bass sounds. But meanwhile, there's a slapback echo happening that's going to cause phase issues, delay in time, phasing issues all over the bass. So you have like an echo happening. Like it sounds kind of cool, but could destroy a mix. So I don't know. If you're going to use this, I would keep this low down and then use something like A1 stereo control and hit that safe bass button so you know that everything below 150 Hertz is in mono. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not crazy about that. What other features do we have here? Oh yeah, this Millerize. I mean, I kind of like how that sounds, but I'm a big fan of scoop bass. I like scooped everything. So we got compression. Oh, there's a sub bass. So I assume this is introducing some kind of harmonic saturation on the low end. It's pretty subtle, it's tasteful, I like it. I just want to compare it to the bass knob. Don't we all want to compare to the bass knob? Huh. That doesn't sound much different. Okay, so that's bass cranked. Now I'm going to switch back to sub bass cranked. Okay. Okay, yeah, so definitely sounds quite different. The sub bass is pretty nice. Yeah. So that's everything on. Let's hear this with the drums. I'm going to bypass it. I mean, it's definitely more exciting sounding. That doubler's adding a lot of fun. Oh, this is right, Millerize. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I mean, it sounds better, but what happens if I just try an EQ? I wonder if I can get close to that. Let's put in our high pass. Do a low shelf. Whoops. Low shelf around 100. What do we have? A D swamp at 300. Mids, we have a mid scoop, so that's probably going to be about 1K. And then we have our highs, probably around 4K. there you go. That's pretty much the same. Right, so QuickBase. How much is this going for now? Let's see. Take a look here. Introductory discount. Oh, cool. 44 bucks. 149 regularly? Wow. Okay. 44 bucks American. I'd rather at $19 American, 19 to 29 American. I'd say maybe if you're in the market for something quick and easy, maybe, but $149, no way. Like I can't see spending that much on a plugin when there's so many other things you could get with that. Also, a big problem I have with this is just if a first-time user is using this, you're going to cheat yourself of learning how bass is properly mixed. There's no opportunity here to really learn about attack and release times and EQing, EQ first, EQ after, and like I said, splitting up the bands and processing them separately. As you may know from any of you who've seen my StudioRack review, which I recommend, I'll post a link up above. I mean, this is how I like to process bass. So I split the bass up. So normally in the old world, you'd take your bass and mult it out into 3 separate tracks. The low one is just the low frequencies. And then you, compress those as you want to. And then you split the band. Next one you high pass at 200 hertz. You run the same compression on that, or, same attack and release times. And then you add another channel, and here in StudioRack I split the 200 hertz and up into 2 channels. And then I parallel process that with an overdrive. And I can put my doubler on it. Now I got my chorus, and that's only happening above 200 hertz, so I know that my subs are safe. And then I can blend that in with my dry high-end signal. And we put that back in with our sub. And that sub we give a nice boost around 80 to 100. And then you compress that again. Kind of slam down on that to get control of those subs. And you have a nice smooth bass. See, I have full control over like the weight of the bass, the girth of the bass, that attack character. Bring that down. Then the chorus, I can bring that up. So yeah, I would say this could be a fun thing to try out. Like, it sounded okay, but I feel like I could easily get here with standard stock EQ and compression, and maybe add a saturator for fun. But I would strongly prefer to use your internal DAWs processing, or your collection of plugins, waves, Slate, whatever you use. So there you go. There's one forgotten plugin out of the way. Join me next time for Too Many Plugins! Are there any forgotten plugins that you got lying around that you'd like me to take a look at? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and join me next week for another new and exciting episode on palebluedot Studios. If you haven't already, like and subscribe, and share this with your friends, and we'll see you next time at palebluedot.